Today's video, we're going to talk about how to DCA into a trade. Now, today on the live stream, I had a trader ask, what is DCA? How do you do it? So here's an example real quick. Here's some trades that we're taking today on the live stream. Now, I will leave a link in the description box down below, the first link, where if you guys want to join me where I stream live each day the market is open, you can subscribe to the other channel, and we stream live on YouTube every single day the market is open. So here's what DCAing is essentially. Let's say that I want to short the market, and let's say I get in the market right here where this arrow is. Then the market goes up higher, I add to the trade. And then maybe the market goes even higher and I add to the trade again. And then as the market comes down, all those positions end up getting into profit. Now, why is that? Well, if you think about it from this standpoint right here, when we first enter the market, I'm going to simply draw a horizontal line right there, which represents the first entry price. Well, the market goes against us, and let's say in this example, the market goes against us by about 76 points. Well, now if I go ahead and I enter the market again, right about right here, now the average price is half of that entire move. So if we measure that out, our average price is now right here about 510. So what that does is it raises your average price and gives you a better chance to make money in the market. Now, what I will say is when you DCA into a trade, it works a lot of the times, but one of the pitfalls you got to worry about is when it doesn't work, you need to make sure that you have a catastrophic stop loss in place or a certain dollar amount that you're willing to lose on a particular trade. Another tip real quick is if you plan to DCA into a trade, you don't want to simply, let's say, enter the market right here. Then it goes up just a couple ticks. You enter there, enter there, enter there, enter there, because before you know it, the market rallies up and you're going to be in a world of hurting in terms of your position being underwater. So let's look at a live example from today that was taken on the live stream. And I had two different trades on the micros that I placed. Here was the first one right here. We're coming up towards the swing point over here on the left. I entered the market knowing that I could potentially be wrong, and I plan to add to the trade if it goes against me. What does the market do? The market runs right back up. And then right around on this candle here, about 575, I enter the market. I enter a second contract into the trade. Now, notice in this example, the market went roughly 73 points against me before ultimately coming down in both of those positions, getting put into the money. Now, I'm going to show you guys a rough estimate of how many points this trade actually make. On the first contract, I essentially made roughly right around 24 points. On the second contract, I made somewhere around 97 points. So if we go ahead and we grab the calculator out real quick, and I say, all right, 97 plus 24, we made roughly 121 points on that trade. Now, since this was only with micros, and again, if you're going to DCA, you want to do it with a smaller size. And one of the tricks is start out very small on the trade. Now, if we look at how much this trade was essentially worth, each point on the micro NASDAQ is worth $2 per point. That one single trade with two contracts was good for about 240 points. Now, I did have another trade on the micros right up in here. However, the market never went substantially higher for me to add into this trade. In this trade right here, you can see that during the live stream, made roughly right around 54 points on that trade, which is just over $100. So within these two micro trades where a lot of people want to say, you can't make no money in micros, that was roughly $350 on that trade. Now, we had a second example, and this came in the form of the MES, the micro S&P 500. You can see I entered it roughly at the same area where I entered into that MNQ trade, the NASDAQ, as we were getting close towards this swing point. Well, what did the market do? It went up higher. And notice my first entry was right here about 55.50 and a quarter. My second entry was about 55.64.25. Notice there was roughly a 14-point spread between the two entries. I didn't simply jump on, hurry up, and keep adding on the way up. You need to space them apart if you're going to DCA into the trade. And then look, the market flushes down. And I end up exiting these trades right around 55.38. Now, if we go to and we measure, how much was this trade good for? On the first contract, that trade was good for right around 12 points. And on the second contract, since it had the better entry, that second contract was good for right around 26 points. Now, if we pull up the handy dandy calculator real quick, 26 plus 12 gives us 38 points. Now, with the S&P 500, each point is worth $5. So that trade was worth $190 with just two micros. Now, to put this in perspective, two micros with most discount brokers is going to be about $100 worth of margin for the S&P. Then you can see right here, I went to add another DCA trade. This time I started off with 2 contracts. It came right down roughly 10 points. I just simply exited the trade. And this little trade right here was good for roughly right around another $100. So between these 2 trades, $290, and essentially using very little margin. Now, if you trade with prop firms like Apex, My Funded Futures, or Take Profit Trader, and you want to make sure you get the best deal, use the link in the description box down below. But also trading with the micro contract with a DCA type of mentality, which is another way to better overcome the intraday trailing drawdown if the prop firm has an intraday trailing drawdown. Also, if you end up losing on a trade, typically, if you're trading with micros, that loss is going to be substantially less than if you're trading with minis. On the flip side, yes, you're not going to make as much, but it's better to be consistent day in, day out than have a big roller coaster. Make a $10,000 one day, lose $10,000 the next day, make $8,000, lose $7,000. The emotional roller coaster just is not worth it. Now, if you guys like to learn how to find pinpoint entries using order flow, then make sure to check out this next video right here.